Good evening, guys, and welcome to Are You Brave Enough? I'm your host for tonight. I'm Amy, and tonight's guests are Nicky and Lynn.
Hi,
Tonight, we're going to get to know them a little better. But if you could you give us a share and your arts, please?
Yeah, hearts.
Absolutely. Trudy won't be on tonight. I think she's having a night off, so have a good rest, Trudy. Anyway, how are you girls?
All right, are you? It's been a long time since we've spoken.
It's been ages, hasn't it?
Yeah, all this lockdown and
Not good, is it?
Absolutely.
You're looking awesome.
Thank you. And you.
Oh, bless you.
Right. Anyway, could you please tell us a little bit, where's your crew location?
So we're from the West Midlands, so we're based in Tamworth. However, we're not grounded in the West Midlands. We're a team that's quite versatile and we do move around the country.
True.
So, but the Midlands has got the most amazing locations. So hopefully we'll talk about them. We'll talk about them tonight. But we also love working with other teams, so other Midlands teams, other teams within Ghost Hunter Tours. It is like one big family.
It is.
It
really
is.
And you can learn a lot from other people.
Yeah.
We really can. So, how long have you been with Ghost Hunter Tours?
So try to work this out today because the years they just roll by.
It's about 3 years.
3 years, and it's gone so quick. And obviously
really
with the lockdown, we've had that kind of that break now, that little bit of a void. But yeah,
I just can't wait to get back onto it. I can't.
Oh, no. It drives us mad that we can't get out there and do what we do.
Absolutely. If anybody has any questions for Nicky and Lynn, please post them in the chat and we'll give you a shout out as well. So
now
what got you?
Sorry, Amy, I've kind of dragged Lynn on because she was sat over in the chair. And come on.
So I've sort of been dragged into it.
Yeah.
So excuse the state.
You look gorgeous.
Thank you.
So what got you both into the paranormal?
Right.
So Lynn, professionally, I always call Lynn, and a lot of people don't actually know, but Lynn is actually my mum. So it's her fault.
Don't you mind?
I grew up in that family environment where my mum claimed to see spirit. She was completely an all-rounder, so claimed to see spirit, hear spirit, sense spirit, and I grew up literally in that environment. I also had a twin sister that also claimed to see spirit as well. Now, when I say claimed, I'm an investigator. So a lot of investigators will say they allegedly claim to see. Obviously, as investigators, we want that evidence for, don't we? But I literally grew up in that environment, witnessing a lot. And as a child, I've got to be totally honest, from a child's perspective, it absolutely terrified me. And I would go to bed, and I've seen so much as a child, from furniture moving to cups moving across the room to furniture breaking, you name it. I actually witnessed it as a child. And then I would go to bed, and as a twin, our beds were literally parallel to each other. So I could see Lisa literally lying in bed, and she would wake me up and say, "They're back." And just the look on her face just absolutely terrified me. So I was one of those child that literally my hands on the quilt and wouldn't look, and then she'd have to tell me when they'd gone. But I always could sense and feel the atmosphere change, but never understood it. So as I grew up, I wanted to change that fear into understanding. So as a teenager, I would take myself off to the library and study books on ghosts and spirits to try to find those answers. And at the age of 48, obviously I'm still doing it now.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, very good.
Right. Mark has a question.
Oh, hello, Mark.
What's the most frightening experience you've had?
The most frightening experience I've had was here in my home.
Yes.
It wasn't out actually on location. It was 15 years ago, and I can remember it as if it was yesterday. It's very, very long-winded, so I won't go into all of it. I was physically attacked. I was actually working on a case. Yeah, I was actually working on a case. And Trudy spoke last week and said, "Oh, I would never let anything overshadow me. I'm really strong." I always thought I was that person. I was working on a case which had very dark undertones to it, and I woke up in the night to my dog. At that time, my dog's now passed, but I woke up to my dog going absolutely berserk, jumping on the bed, jumping off the bed, which is something that he wouldn't normally do. The noise that the dog was making was absolutely phenomenal. It's something that I'll never forget. Obviously, you're woken up with a start. My natural reaction was that he just wanted to go outside, but it was so out of character for him. So out of bed, onto the landing, and it hit me. The most overpowering, energetic feeling. Turned to the light on. I looked at the dog. The dog's ears was literally stood on end. I've never seen anything like it since, and I wouldn't want to witness it again. Snarling. If you see a movie where a dog is just so viciously, he was acting like that. So obviously alarm bells rang. This isn't right, something's here. I went and checked on my children first of all, shut their bedroom doors. All the noise. My dog was making so much noise. I'm going to take up an hour just on this.
That's okay.
My dog was making so much noise. I literally couldn't understand why the rest of my family wasn't woken by this. My husband was literally as if he was in a coma. Really bizarre. So I thought, right, okay, I'm dreaming this. As an investigator, I'm in a dream state. So I went into the bathroom, water on my face to literally wake myself up, went back out onto the landing, subsided. So I went down the stairs to check, as any investigator would, and I let the dog out. I opened the door, let the dog out. Big mistake. I opened the door, invitation for something to come in. You don't think at that time. And I didn't realise at the time that anything could come back in, and went back up the stairs. The dog was perfectly fine, he'd calmed down. I actually got back into bed and lay in the fetal position because I didn't think, I thought that's it, it was just a feeling. And I heard the dog whimpering on the top of the landing, and then no whimpering at all. It was silent. And I tried to move to get up and realised that my whole body was completely paralysed. I was literally overpowered by energy.
And you could hear a high pitch.
I could hear an high pitched tone.
Like electricity.
It was definitely electricity, but it was gathering that energy source as it was moving through the house. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail. It literally overshadowed me. There was a lot of telepathic communication. At the time, I took it as a very negative attack on myself. Whereas 15 years on, it's the best experience that ever happened to me. A lot more happened, and I can write a blog about it, but I'm conscious it's going to take up a lot of time. It was the best experience that ever happened to me. It changed me as an investigator and made me into the investigator that I am now. Made me explore different channels and classifications of the paranormal that I might not have done if it wasn't for that experience. And even today, those 15 years on, I still think about
about that a lot.
I still talk about that experience. Now, somebody might say, okay, so what being do you think it was? It certainly wasn't a disembodied spirit of somebody, of an essence of somebody that lived on the earth plane. It was definitely non-human, potentially interdimensional.
Right. I've got another question. I'm going to ask this one to Lynn first. Lynn, where's your favourite location? And that's from Sue.
My favourite, oh God, I've got so many. So many. Galleries of Justice. I do love the Galleries of Justice. Go on.
The Galleries of Justice was actually the first location that we actually investigated for Ghost Tours. But it's a location that we're really familiar with.
Yeah, I know it inside out as well.
Yeah, it's just phenomenal there. The activity. I mean, the one time we were there, I'm not actually sure if Trudy was with us on that night.
No, it was a different night.
Was it?
Yeah.
When the spirit was shouting your name.
No, that was a different
night.
Yeah.
And you could literally physically hear spirit voice shouting Nicky's name.
We literally had it actually wasn't a Ghost Hunter Tours event.
Was it not?
No, it wasn't. It was actually I hosted for Mysteria Paranormal, John Blackburn.
Oh yes, that's right.
And the Anguish Man painting was there. And we was hosting for a group up in the south. Yes. So I'd blindfolded everyone as a sensory experiment, put them all in the south, and it was completely silent. Yeah. And in the distance there was the most harrowing scream, and
physically everybody heard.
And my voice was called, and my initial instinct was to, someone's in trouble, follow the voice, because that's what it sounded like. Yeah. And then I literally stopped when I got into the doorway and thought, hang on a minute, all my guests are in the cells. That's something else entirely. Yeah. But strangely, the week before, I was at Woodchester Mansion, and exactly the same thing happened. Yes. Exactly the same thing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just, and the activity, the full-bodied apparitions that I've seen there, it was just phenomenal.
There's so many different layers to the Galleries of Justice. Yeah, and as you descend those stairs and go down, it is like a descension, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It really is.
To lower energy.
I've had some of my best paranormal experiences in that place.
Yeah, it is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah. And it's a phenomenal location for anyone of any ability. So if it's your first investigation and go to it, it's an amazing location.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Right. Ben Bishop, he's put, what's the one location you haven't visited yet but you would love to, and why?
I know. Do you want to go first?
No, you go first.
The thing, I take over and I talk.
No, she's fine. I'm used to it.
I can talk for England, literally. Mine's easy. I absolutely resonate with castles. Any castle. It could be a ruin of a castle. Once I'm on the land, it literally transports me completely. And I'm going to have to say Vlad Castle in Romania. Is it Romania?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely
Castle,
that location.
Is it Castle Bran or something like that?
Yeah, most definitely. Because of the deep trauma, the emotions, the macabre things that have happened there, surely those residual energies and those imprints are there at that castle. And I think it would be quite a sensory experience, a very emotional experience as well, but I'd love to go.
Yeah, that would be, yeah.
Quite
agree with that.
So what about you, Lynn?
I don't know, there's so many places. I would love to do what's that asylum called? Oh God, what's
in this country?
Yes, it is in this country. Gosh, I can't think of the name of it. Oh, I'm not sure if Ghost Hunter Tours have done it before.
An asylum that Ghost Hunter Tours have
I'm
done?
sure they have. But yeah. I can't. I think I'm not quite sure, Amy, where it is.
Is it Newsham or something like that?
Newsham, that's it. Yes. Yeah, I would love to do that.
And as well, the Galleries of Justice, going back to that, if you've ever been to the Judges' Lodgings, which is a location...
Yeah, I have. I went with you.
Yeah, you was with
Yeah.
I love that location.
It's great, yeah.
And literally, on a parallel to the galleries, it's got a lighter feel to it, but it's on the same kind of construct, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And there's something, that place is just so special. And the movie The Others, that it is for me, that location.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
if you've done the galleries but you haven't done the judges' lodgings, then do that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Karen Bradshaw says, have you had any bad spirits attached to you?
No.
No.
No. I've had that one experience, but I truly, truly believe that it probably sounds really bizarre. I think that everybody's got a path and everyone's got a journey, and that experience that was meant to happen to me to then propel me then to the next level of what I was doing afterwards.
I believe, like, before you can move to the next level, everyone gets tested first.
You do, yes.
And it's not putting yourself as such on a level. I don't believe in that pedestal mentality. I think that everybody individually has got a spiritual journey.
Yes.
And I truly believe that experience happened to me to then propel me to the next calling, if you like.
And I can honestly say never. No, never.
No.
Brilliant.
Never.
Tom's put, what's the best activity you've had and at which location?
There's
Warwick Castle, one of them.
Oh, Warwick Castle. Warwick Castle was an amazing location.
I love Warwick Castle.
Warwick Castle, we had the amazing pleasure to host for Warwick Castle. And it was an event that they did at that time, yearly for charity. And we was told that you'll be hosting 2 staff and VIP guests. And the one vigil that we actually did, we went down into the cellar, the dungeon part, if anybody's familiar with Warwick. So we had the guests all lined up around the walls, and we opened up the vigil. And into the vigil, could see this shadow up on the wall. And it was slightly illuminated from the room was slightly illuminated from the emergency exit signs, the green luminous signs. But I could see this shadow upon the wall, and it never really had a humanoid figure or anything to it. But I was trying to figure out who it was actually coming from, but it was just way too high. And then I noticed that the team that were there also had spotted it and also noticed it. And
we all sort of saw it together, didn't we?
Yeah. So we all kind of like signalled to each other. We couldn't obviously attribute a natural explanation for it. And it actually started to move. So it wasn't moving as a shadow would, as somebody's motion of them moving. It actually come away from the wall, literally come away from the wall. And as quick as anything, it literally darted literally across. At that moment, one of the guests absolutely screamed and shouted, "I've just felt something go through me." So to witness that at that time, for us to see that and then for it to move.
But the guests hadn't seen it because they didn't realise what was happening, did they? But, for us to see that move and then go literally through the guest, and that guest scream at that time, that was amazing.
And literally to interview her then afterwards, and for her to say, I'm all about the energy, literally about the energy. So I want to know how she felt with that experience. That energy literally went through her. So I want to know. I don't just want to know. I want to know everything. And she said that she felt extremely sick. So if you imagine, if you're walking in a swimming pool and you've got the resistance of the water, so you'll go forward a little bit, and then the water literally pulls you back. Yeah, so it was like that for her. So there was like a drag and a pull sensation as the energy actually passed through her. Obviously, different densities, different frequencies. When energy comes into contact with energy, there's going to be a reaction. So she said there was a passing movement, so going forward, going back, going forward, going back, and it made her feel extremely sick. That's happened to someone else on an investigation that I wasn't hosting, but I was a guest at as well. Yeah.
Trudy says, what
Hi,
would you
Trudy.
what would you say to any newbies on here that would want to come on their first ghost hunt?
I would say everyone comes, don't they? And they come with so much apprehension and nervousness.
They need to have an open mind.
I've got to say it, and I'm not just saying this whatsoever, but ghost hunt tours, it's like being with a group of friends.
Yeah.
And all the investigators are no different to the guests. We are extremely passionate, of course, about the paranormal, and each investigator will have different classifications of the paranormal that they will vibe with and study, so everybody's different. Paranormal is vast in terms of classifications, but just come and relax and have fun, because you will feel, hopefully, by the time you go away, that you have been with a group of friends. And it's not about us.
No.
We're just there really as guides to give you the best experience that you could possibly have. And just the sheer fact that you're in an historical location for that duration that you've paid to go to is, just relax and just enjoy it. And remember, it's your night. And a lot of people, you can see them opening up and opening up as the night goes on, which is absolutely brilliant. But yeah, just come with an open mind and just have fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ricky has put, who can't wait to go back to ghost hunting? I can't wait.
I can't wait.
Between me and Alice Provis, we have got quite a few booked and can't remember how many. Going to have a look through my emails. So I think.
Wow, that's awesome.
So we're looking forward to seeing you all anyway.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it is like, obviously we've got the experience, we've done it a long time to keep everyone safe and give them the best quality experience that we possibly can. But it is the guests' night.
It is. Yeah, it's all
really
for them,
is.
isn't it?
It is their night. Yeah.
Yeah, I think my bit of advice is you get out of it what you put into it.
Exactly. You've got to put into it to get something out of it.
So if you're going to look, that's the way I think anyway. So
and I think as well, the investigators, especially all the ones that I've worked with as well, I haven't worked with them all at Ghost Hunter Tours, but you do things throughout the night to open guests up and get guests involved as well. So it's literally all working together, building that energy, and everybody just working together
as a team.
And lots of laughter as well. Lots of laughter builds energy.
Laughter's good for energy.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
And we need that, don't we? All need a bit of laughter at the moment.
We really do. Right, I've got another question.
Ooh,
right.
Cool.
In your opinion, what is the most haunted location you have investigated?
I'm going to say the most haunted. I actually really dislike that terminology. I think the most haunted is because it's the most investigated that I've done. It's the location I've spent the most time with. So for me, it warrants that title. I think to deem a location as the most haunted, then there's got to be a really in-depth case study done on that location over a prolonged period of time. And for me, it is the Moat House in our hometown of Tamworth. I had the pleasure of working there, also investing there for about 9 years.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So for knowing a location for 9 years and living and breathing it, I think I can warrant to say that I think for me that was the most haunted.
Yeah, I quite agree.
Yeah, purely because I spent so much time there.
And we did gain a lot of evidence from there.
A phenomenal location, and I know that Ghost Hunter Tours did try to get that location. It's been under new ownership for a while. Sadly, obviously, it's been closed with COVID, but they're just literally not interested in having any form at all of paranormal research done there, which is such a shame because it's remarkable.
It is, yeah. I mean, we set up the one we were doing, the hopscotch, didn't we, with talcum powder, put it on camera. We all went downstairs We were sat watching locked off cameras. We were sat watching it on the camera, and you could literally see footsteps of a child doing the hopscotch.
Well, we say child only
because the feet were so tiny.
Yeah, the size of the actual the footprints was so small.
And we obviously all ran upstairs, didn't we?
Yeah.
And the footprints were there in the talcum powder.
I actually worked there for a substantial amount of time, and we allowed a lot of paranormal teams into the location as well at that time. So there's a lot of teams out there, and I believe Most Haunted had access to it as well for a while. I think they were the last people to really be in there. However, one thing I will say with all locations is don't always believe what you read on the internet in terms of history as well. To really,
Google is not always your best friend.
It's not. You can always tell on it when you're doing a ghost hunt who's Googled before they've come.
Yeah.
And
Wikipedia really is definitely not your friend.
Yeah, definitely. So, you know, I think sometimes in modern times of going live all the time, I think a lot of true investigation skills can be lost a little bit because the emphasis is going on live.
Yes.
And I think that the essence of that investigation, you know, being an investigator is the research. So do your historical research, do your land
see what was there before the land, before the buildings were there and that.
Exactly, and it will answer a lot of questions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sue wants to know, how do you protect yourself before a hunt?
Hi, Stu. You're all right.
Hi.
I'm a great believer. I'm all about energy, frequency, and vibration. And protection is a lifelong thing. It's not just not on the night of an investigation. It's a daily practice, just like you brush your teeth. And I'm a great believer in that. I believe that if you aiming at raising your vibration, that's the protection. And I think that we need as well to give this teaching to guests on investigations as well, because, and I'm not a medium, so I talk about it purely on an investigator level who studies energy. So Lynn, as a medium, as a sensitive, will talk about it very, very differently, I guess, and as would Trudy listening, etc. But I think you are your own protection. Your body is a temple, so you literally raise your vibration, and that will protect you.
Brilliant. Right. Nicky wants to know, Ricky, sorry, not Nicky. Nicky, where is your very first ghost hunt?
My very first ghost hunt was Gresley Old Hall.
Great location.
Yeah, many years ago.
That place never disappoints.
Oh, awesome.
It's a location that, being in the Midlands, we're so familiar with that location. It's a location that is madly investigated, obviously pre-COVID. So is it over investigated? I don't know. That's not for me to say. But again, it's a prime example of people believing what they read straight away on the internet. The location has so much to offer, literally from its building material that it was built with to its history. A lot of people talk about a maid that got burnt in a fire, but if you actually go really, really deep with it, I'm not going to say too much because it allows suggestion. You'll find out other things. Also, with it being over investigated, it is a location where I've been called to a number of times to, and I'm not putting any judgment on anyone here, because everybody is on their own individual paranormal journey, and everybody investigates completely differently, and we literally create our own reality. So what someone does on an investigation, they have to understand that what they put their energy to can manifest. And I have been called to the location, because I don't live very far, to actually clean up the location,
cleanse it,
and the things that we've encountered. it does open
We
your
have to
eyes.
remove it all.
Yeah, I'm not going to name any teams whatsoever. That's not my place to do so. That's down to the location. That's not down to me. And there was a team that literally spent the whole weekend there. And anyone that knows Gresley would know that once you've actually paid that money, you're kind of left on your own there, aren't you? So Peter doesn't really know what people actually get up to in that space. And shall we say, the remnants of what was left behind was very ritualistic. And obviously the people that were there were exploring darker sides. So, yeah. So, with that being said, with Gresley, don't always think that there's something that happens because it's from an energy at the location. It could very well be because of portals that have been left open and what other teams have actually brought in.
Could be spirits not from Gresley.
Sorry, I talk so much, don't I?
Right, we have got a guest in the green room, but I'll ask you one more question and then we'll let our guest in.
Okay.
Right.
That's
Jacqueline's put, when on an investigation, how do you deal with negative energy within the group?
How do you deal with the negative energy, as in an entity that's come forward into the atmosphere, or would that be a negative guest?
What do you mean, a negative guest, or how would we deal?
It could be anything. It could be
team?
negative. It could be negativity within the crew as well. You don't know. So
but I think as an investigator or as a team member, you very quickly have the skills to get to know your environment. So you get to know the environment energetically, but you also get to know your guests, and you can very quickly get to know what guests are nervous because of their body language as well. So if you're a learned investigator that's an experienced investigator, you know your environment, and you literally scan your environment,
and you can tell constantly. The vibration that's coming off your guests.
We could have a negative, so we'll say a low vibrating energy that comes into. Sorry, I know somebody's waiting in the green room. We could have a low vibrating energy that comes in, and they're dealt with very quickly. And the guests might not even know.
We have a code word, don't we, for the team? Yeah,
the team, literally,
Brilliant. Right, everybody. This is right, we have got a special guest in the green room, right? And she's a lovely lady called Sam, and she took some photos that's been put up on the Ghost Hunter Tours page recently of Witton Cemetery. I'm going to add her in now, right? And if you've got any questions for her, please ask away. And also I will put up the photos and the column that was in the newspaper after the show on the Are You Brave Enough page. So please welcome Sam.
Hello everyone.
Hi.
You okay?
Hi, Sam.
Hi.
We said that together then.
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Brilliant. So there was a thing in the Birmingham Mail recently about some photos that you'd taken.
Right.
Could you tell us the events of that day and what happened?
Yeah, sure. Well, the events of that day is like any normal day to me when I go and visit the cemetery anyway, because I go and visit relatives over there. So just happened to be a normal day, and I thought it's absolutely beautiful here. You know, the mists and everything, and I love scenery. So I took some photos. Thought nothing of it, carried on about my business. Then later on when I got home, it was only when I thought, well, what's that in the background? And I zoomed up on that one, and it looked like a Victorian lady in Victorian dress. And then I scanned across the same photo, and it looked like I'd caught 3 images. So a Victorian lady there, where she's like leaning like that sort of thing. Then I scanned across, and it looked like a lady in a bridal dress, and then a man standing wearing long boots. So I said to my husband Jerry, I said, could you see anything there? And he zoomed up as well, and he went, you know what, you've caught something there. And that's where it all started, really. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I've got these pictures on my phone. Right? I'm hoping people can see them because I don't know how to put it up on the StreamYard. But if you can see them, these are the photos.
One photo. That is. It's like it looks like 3 photos, but it's not. It's actually one photo.
Oh, okay then.
Could you actually sense anything, Sam, yourself?
I've sensed things when I've been there before years ago.
Did you think that day?
Not that day, no. I didn't feel anything. But when I've been there before, and I've been going there a number of years, I felt different things.
Yeah.
But then
so
it could
be. Do you normally take photographs when you go to the cemetery?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
And have you ever thought that you've captured anything before?
I have actually. Because when I used to go and visit my daughter's grave there, the one, not on that camera phone, but on an old camera phone, I took a picture of her grave and it looked like a child's face in the grave. And that was about 3 or 4 years ago. And I kept it to myself. I thought nothing of it.
Yeah.
I left it. Do you know what I mean? I didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably because, it's a private moment to me, isn't it, really?
Of course, yeah, of course.
I have felt things there before, and it's not the only place I take photos. I take photos all around. I'm a bit of a...
So was you prompted
photo
to
addict, to
take
be
the
fair.
photo because of a feeling that you had, or was it just, it's very atmospheric because you mentioned the mist?
Like the mist.
Yeah.
When we had snow, I would have gone and took photographs in the snow, but I missed it that week. So when I got there and I had my camera phone on me, I thought, do you know what? It's so beautiful. And it felt like I was the only one in the cemetery that day.
Yeah.
It was just, I didn't have any other feeling. It just felt nice to me not to see anyone else there. But then when I looked at the photos afterwards, I thought, oh, okay.
Do you normally have you ever been like on investigations before? Or
No, but I am actually going on one. I was meant to be going on one in November to the Ancient Ram Inn over in Gloucester. It's been cancelled, but we're going in July now.
may
So
I
I'm looking
just
forward to
say,
that.
if anybody has any haunted photos or anything, could you please send them in for us to have a look at, because we would really be interested in them as well.
I have to say, I haven't really studied the photos myself. So I will have a look when we
I'll put them on the Are You Brave Enough page as well, so you can have a good look and that lot.
There's a lot of skeptics out there, though, isn't there, really? And, like when the Mail put it on Birmingham Live, I mean, there's over about 50 comments, like 850 comments on that at the moment. So there's a lot of skeptics in that.
Well, there is anywhere, isn't there? There will be sceptical.
Yeah.
So it was obviously taken on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you take a number of photos? It's the
I've
3
got a
photos.
sequence of photos.
How many photos did you take in total?
Oh, I didn't count them. Maybe roughly about 20.
Oh, right, okay. So we've taken that volume of photos then. Potentially, have you got the alleged manifestation as it's forming, as it's coming into the atmosphere?
Well, when I took that photo at that angle, that's the entrance, the back entrance of Witton Cemetery where I come in. That's the only one I took at that entrance. Do you know what I mean? Whereas
so you only
everything else
took one photo.
is moving along.
Sorry about that. Gary just hijacked the show again. He does it every week.
Gary, doesn't
So yeah, it's about 20 photos.
So going back, you just took one photo in that space where you believe you've caught that manifestation, or a number of manifestations.
In that one photo, it was that I took one that way, and then I turned around, because I'll turn around and I'll walk through the cemetery, you see, and you'll see through the photos. I've got them actually on my phone, on my Facebook page. It's me walking through the cemetery.
So what phone is, I know it's a camera phone, but is it like an iPhone or a Samsung Galaxy or something like that? Because sometimes...
Samsung A40.
Okay.
So I just noticed when Amy put the phone to the camera so we could see, for everyone to see. Are some of them in black and white?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. No. Are some of them in black and white? No.
No,
The
mine's
picture
in
appears
colour.
in...
Oh,
But
they're in colour, are they?
Mine are in colour, yeah, but all
Yeah.
the ones
The
ones
pictures
that they
appear.
put on,
Yeah.
yeah, mine are in colour.
Yeah,
But
got them.
so who changed them to black and white?
Obviously the male.
Right,
Okay, got ya.
Okay.
That's what I mean for the paper, I think, yeah.
Yeah. The paper changed them.
Okay. Could we be sent all the series of photos in their natural state?
Yeah, I've got them still on my phone. Yeah.
Brilliant.
That'd be brilliant. If you could
great.
send them to us, that would be fantastic. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'd love to have a look at them and that. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
I
Do
do
you want me to
send
paranormal
them to your-
photography.
What, to your Facebook page or
If you send them to Amy or even Andrew, I'm not sure whether
Yeah.
Andrew's got them. That would be absolutely
Andrew has got
brilliant.
them, yeah.
Yeah. That would
I
be
sent them
lovely.
via email to him, yeah.
Yeah. And if you have done anything with the photos yourself in any way, altered them, will you let us know which one? Well, we'll
Yeah.
have to find out. But
Yeah.
I haven't. I've just
Right.
left them as they are.
Yeah.
But that's
Brilliant.
good, that is. And if you've
Yeah.
left them
Yeah.
as they are, like, and they've not been enhanced in any way, that's good, because you want it in its rawest state.
yeah, in
So-
its natural state.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what it is. I
natural.
don't actually enhance any of my photos. Even if I just take selfies, I don't enhance them or nothing. I just leave them.
You
Oh,
just take them
natural.
and that's it. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's a very ancient. It's a very old. It's got some history to it, hasn't it? This cemetery.
It
Um,
has, yeah.
yeah.
It's one of the oldest in the
I
UK.
was going to say
to
it's
be
very
fair.
old, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is one of the oldest in the UK. I mean, they don't actually bury people there now, only if you have a plot there.
Yes.
I know that they have put some recent burials in there, but that's because, you know, when HS2 now, you know, when they had
Yes.
to take up the burial site at Birmingham, they've
Yes,
had
yes.
to bury them there.
Right.
It is very old, yeah. I think it's 1860s,
Yeah.
something like that.
So if you spoke to, there's always a grounds person, isn't there, at a cemetery? Have you spoke to them about your photos?
I haven't spoken
No.
to Witness Cemetery about them at all. I just spoke to the man. I've just spoke to yourselves on here.
Awesome,
Yeah.
brilliant.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I was going to say something, but I've completely forgot what I was going to say then.
Bless you.
Oh, it's just, whew. So if anyone's got any questions for Sam, please put them in the chat and I'll put them up for you and that lot. So,
Yeah.
and don't forget to like and share.
And it'd be
And-
really
and
interesting
send
as
the
well,
art.
Sam, if Sam could give us a description as well. You've said it was misty, but it'd be really interesting as
Interesting.
well to know the atmospheric conditions.
You know, how did you feel yourself at that time?
Oh, well,
Did
you
your
see,
body
that day,
change?
well, that day I actually felt, well, you see, the thing is, I go and visit my daughter over there who's buried over there. So that's where my mind is,
Yeah,
or that's,
of course,
you know, when
yeah.
I'm going there. And the atmospheric conditions of that day, I mean, yeah, it was
Because
cold.
you've already said
but-
it was misty.
Yeah, it's misty. It's quite cold as well. But that's about it, really. I didn't think anything of it. I just thought, oh God, this looks great. You know, with these, you know, the mist and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
And I like to take photos as I go. I love the seasons. I'll do it again in the
Yes.
summer. You know, in the spring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does when you go to visit,
Yeah.
does the energies change there sometimes?
It has done. When you go up by the chapel, there's one chapel up there now. There used to be 3, but the other 2 were demolished in the 80s. They were, because it's 100 and something acre cemetery that is.
It's
Yeah.
massive.
So there's
It's
a chapel
massive.
there. Up when you go up there, just feel a bit ooh, you know, but not all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Mark's got a question. Did you have a look at the graves near the image?
I was
To
going
look
to
for names.
I was going to ask that question as well. Well done.
Hi, Mark. I probably have looked at them in the past and not registered the names. But where you see the actual colour photo, not the published male photos that are black and white, where you saw the published photo, if you look at the colour photo there, where you can see the graves coming up, that's where the graves begin at that end of the cemetery. But no, I mean, I probably have looked at them, but I can't recall their names, or I probably will look again when I go this week.
I'm going to say,
Oh, yeah, I'll be
interesting
proper-
next time she
yeah.
goes for you to actually look at the graves in that area and see who's
Yeah.
actually buried there.
Yeah.
And
also,
you know, their age.
Yeah.
And also, just in case there's not different, because the leaves and the different trees and that, it might be worth taking another
Taking more
load of
photos.
sequence of photos,
Yes.
just in case. It could
That's
have
what
been
I was going to
pareidolia.
do.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going
Yes.
to do.
Yeah.
Thursday, because it's on a Thursday. It's open all day at the moment due to COVID and stuff like that. They've changed their hours and things like that. So you can't go like Monday. You can go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but we haven't got a lot of time.
Yeah.
You've only got
Yeah.
like a little bit of a window there. So, but I'm going to go Thursday, and I was going to take exactly the same sequence of photos
Yeah.
and see. And now Mark's
Yeah.
posted that question to me. I can have a look, see those graves there.
But
That's
when
just
you're
me.
taking your photos, Sam, take one after the other in concession.
Yeah.
Literally one. Click, 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 and
Yeah, I
keep
will
doing
do
that.
that. Yeah.
Do you know what
Because
I
the
mean?
photos that I took, I think there's about 20 of them, and they weren't in succession like that. They were
No.
just like, I turned that
Obviously,
way,
yeah.
or I turned, you know what I mean?
But it might be
Yes.
worth you just recreating the whole thing, like
Well,
what you did that day.
The very first thing that you said was it was misty. So
That's right.
obviously to create them in its natural state as it was on that day might be really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
yeah.
mean, like, just be
But-
like going.
But yeah,
Like, where
but
she went
definitely what Amy's saying as well. I just want to say as well, as investigators, out of a respect for everybody that could potentially watch this and watch this in the future that knows Sam's come on, that don't really condone loads of investigators literally turning up at that
No.
cemetery
No.
to do investigations.
No.
We have to be really respectful.
security
I just
cameras
wanted
in
to
the
put that
cemetery
out
as
there.
well. So
Yeah, I just
And
wanted
there
to
is
put that out there for
security
the
at the
masses
moment,
that could
so-
watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think any cemetery would like masses of people going and investigating
No.
based on the photos that you've got. I think we have to be extremely
Absolutely.
respectful.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Yeah.
a place of rest, so.
So what
Yes.
so obviously you want answers with these photos. So you've come to Ghost Hunter Tours to get those answers?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
for us to look at them and say exactly what we feel.
Yeah, what do you think of the photos yourselves? I mean, you know, as I say, a lot of people have got different opinions and stuff like that. I can see things, people in those photos, in that photo actually, one photo.
Yeah.
So it'd be quite interesting to see what you guys think.
Yeah, I think because
definitely.
you've actually said what you actually think, it does form for anybody that's looking at those photos a certain level of suggestion.
Yeah.
So then people naturally look for that. It would have been good to have those photos. What do you think
What do you
without that
think on there?
suggestion
Yeah.
being
I see
put
what you
there?
mean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah,
think that
it doesn't help that the newspaper article actually
No.
put what they thought it was or what
Yeah.
it said it was.
Yeah.
That doesn't help matters, but
No.
you just have to go in there looking at it from a new perspective,
New perspective.
really.
Yeah.
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 So, and
I'll
not
have a
look
look.
at the
I'll have
photos in the order of what they
I haven't
say.
really studied them, so I'll have a look after. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
I've not.
sent them over to. I did send them over via email anyway, but I can send them again. So
Yeah.
the actual ones, yeah.
Oh no, I
Yeah.
think Andrew's got them, but we just haven't had
Yeah.
a good look at them at the moment. But we will do.
Well, we will do. Don't worry.
Okay,
Like,
all right.
has anybody got any questions? No. Anybody? It's all gone quiet on the western front. Trudy's put good advice, girls. Any newbies on here, you take a minimum of 3 photos in a frame so you can compare them if they capture anything paranormal.
Yeah.
So what would be in one photo may not be in the first photo, if you know what I mean.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, so-
I actually
Or you can see it manifest going along in
I
different
actually
photos.
take loads of photos.
Yeah, so do I.
Absolutely loads.
Yeah, well, your
Yeah.
advice to me for when I go again, I can do that do that
Yes.
sequence of photos.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I wouldn't have thought to have done that before. Do you know
No,
what I mean?
no, that's right. Yeah, but next time you go, you can do that.
So you didn't do any calling out? It was very spontaneous. You just took photos.
No, it's always
while you were there?
spontaneous when I go there. What you've got to realise is I go there for a reason. I don't go
Yeah.
there to ghost hunt. I go there for an actual reason.
The
You know what I
reason
mean?
you go
I
to
go
visit
there
somebody.
to visit deceased relatives. So
Yeah.
and when I go, I always take photos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would see a
I've
question
got to admit,
coming
I
in
do
there
the
now.
same.
Yeah.
Isabella says, how did you feel when you took the photos?
Well, when I actually took the photos, I didn't feel anything. I just thought, oh, it's so lovely. It's so peaceful, not like I normally do. It was after, when I came home later that day, I felt a bit strange when I zoomed up. And I thought, you know what I mean?
Yeah, when
But I
you've looked at it,
didn't
it's like, oh,
feel-
whoa, what's that?
Yeah, I didn't feel anything when I took the photos. I didn't have any feeling around me or anything. I just, I don't know. It was just a normal cemetery
day.
visit, really. Yeah.
Yeah. And go. Right, Karen has put, were you taking photos of a certain area or was it just random?
Hi, Karen. It was just random. Whenever I go around there, if we're talking about Witton Cemetery in general, I know the cemetery very, very well. I've been going for a long time, so those were just random, just like any other photos would have been, really. So yeah.
Right, hang on. She's put again, I bet all the spirits are wondering where everyone is. I bet they're thirsty for the energies. Bless. Hang on. So, I've put that one. So you had no inkling of anything?
No. When I've been in the past, and I've been going a long time, many years, I've kind of had feelings, or I've heard something, or I felt something there, but that was a long, long time ago, many years ago. But that day, no, I didn't have an inkling at all.
Wow.
But it's, I mean, like, I have actually seen a ghost.
Have you?
Seen
Where?
a ghost. I was in Hereford. Oh, it's going back about, I've got to tell you this, going back about 15 years ago. And there's a pub down in Hereford, and it's called the Ye Old Green Man.
Right.
Oh, it's ancient, it is. And I was outside. It's like a country lane. It's in Farnhope, and there's a country lane, and it's an inn. And I just happened to turn behind me, and I could have sworn I saw a little boy in a little cap with little breeches on. And when I turned again, he disappeared.
Wow,
And I
that's
saw
awesome.
one on the A45 when I was coming from work as well.
Oh,
Wow.
So whether or not they're attaching themselves to me over the years, I don't know.
Isabella again says, have you had something like this happen before? Like when you visit
I
to
visit the
cemetery
cemetery often. I've felt that in the past, I can't remember how many years ago, that there was something there, somebody behind me. Not in that particular spot where I walk in, because that's where I walk in. That's not the main gate. That's like a back gate. When I've walked in before and I've been around the cemetery, I've felt that there's something there, and I've looked and there's nothing there. Do you know what I mean? Like a presence.
yeah.
But I don't think anything of it. I really don't.
No.
I kind of like might chew the fat over it in my own brain and think, was I cold then, or was that, did I feel that? But no, I've just dismissed it then.
Just being in the right
Absolutely.
place at the right time, potentially.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
Isabella is really interested in this subject. She's like, is this the first time you have taken photos there?
No, Isabella, it's not the first time I've taken photos there. My daughter passed away 25 years ago, so I've taken a lot of photos there over the years. A lot of photos. I like the seasons there. I mean, that cemetery is a very, very peaceful place to me.
It is, considering it's right next to the M6.
Is the motorways there? Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Do you
is.
know the cemetery well, Amy? Do you know it? You're familiar with it?
I've never been in there, but I've driven by it millions of
yeah.
times, and I always look at it and think, I'd love to go in there.
Yeah.
To go
But I
in
never
one
get-
day. Should go in one day, have a wander around. Yeah. But so I've taken photos over there over the years, lots of in the spring, in the summer. It's beautiful when the snow's there,
Yeah,
so
I bet
it's just
it
like
is,
things like that, really. Yeah.
Very atmospheric.
I mean, as an investigator, it fascinates me, the atmospheric conditions of that capture. That fascinates me.
I just found it so beautiful.
Do you
That's
think?
what I do. I find it so beautiful. If I was somewhere else and it wasn't the cemetery, I would still took pictures that day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Do you think it was foggy, or like during the day, or do you think it just appeared as you arrived, or something like that?
Well, when I walked in that back gate, and that is a back gate off the Moor End Lane side of it, it was clear when I walked in, and you could see fog or mist ahead. I wouldn't say fog, I'd say mist. A mist ahead, yeah? And as you walk up, it's like a pathway. You have to be there to see it. You have to walk up the pathway. And it felt like the mist was coming there more and more. But it stayed misty, not foggy. It stayed misty till about 10:30, 11 o'clock that morning.
Well, it's the dew.
Because I had a good walk round.
Temperature of the...
Because you've got to remember, there's not just one person in there that's buried in my family. There's quite a few, and they're dotted around that cemetery. So I do tend to have a walk round.
Yeah. So
So
you
when
don't
you
think?
So when you
Sorry.
say there's people in your family that's sorry, Amy, when you say there's people in your family that's buried there, so you've got quite a few ancestors there, or?
I have, yeah, and I've done some ancestral research, and I've found a couple of great grandfathers and fourth great grandmother buried there, which I didn't know about.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
That's good then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I was just thinking of, so with the I'm going along with the mist and the fog and that. So you would say it was just there, like it was the conditions of that day, and it just didn't appear when you turned up and when you took the photos and that lot.
Yeah, I mean, it was just the conditions of the day. As I say, I never thought nothing of it. When I got there, I normally drive, but when I got there on the bus, it was all misty. When I was on the bus on the number 11 coming down from Stetchford, so
it was the weather of that day.
Of it.
Yeah, it was the weather of the day.
The weather of the day, yeah. When I walked into the back green gate, it was quite clear there. It looked as if it was clearing up. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Whereas the more you
But
go
that
up the
happens
path, it
sometimes,
weren't.
does it, if it's a bit misty.
Well, you're right on it as well, aren't you?
You know, it can look, it could go clear in places.
Yeah.
I hate to say this, we've come right to
I
the
know,
very end of the
it's
show.
gone-
It's gone
gone so
really
fast.
quick.
So
I
quick.
just want to say thank you so much for joining us, Sam. And
thanks
hopefully
for
we
having
can. And we're going to have a really good look at your photos. and that lot.
It's hard to comment on it when you because I haven't actually viewed them as well.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have a look at them in a moment. When we
I'll put the Birmingham Mail link up on Are You Brave Enough page so people can have a read and that lot and have a look at it and that lot. But also I'll ask Andy if he's got the original photos so we can add those up so people can have a look and make up their own mind and that lot. But again, thank you so much, and thank you, Lynn and Nikki. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much for joining us.
Sorry if I talk too much.
That's okay. Right, so
Thanks ever so much, guys.
thank you
Love
so
you
much.
meeting you, Sam. Take care.
And bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care.